The movie begins with a haunting scene. A man named Aiden stands alone in his apartment, visibly broken, on the verge of taking his own life. But before we understand how he reached this point, the story rewinds to the day everything changed. Aiden was living an ordinary life when he suddenly heard panic outside. People screaming, doors slamming, and chaos echoing through the streets. Confused, he turned on the TV only to find a chilling emergency broadcast warning of a violent outbreak. Curious and terrified, Aiden rushed to his balcony and witnessed pure mayhem below. Crowds running for their lives and a helicopter spiraling out of control before crashing into a nearby building. As he tried to process what was happening, his neighbor burst through the door, frantically telling him to hide. Aiden noticed something unsettling, a deep bite mark on the back of the neighbor's neck. Moments later, the news confirmed his worst fear. A deadly virus was spreading through bites and scratches, turning people into violent, cannibalistic creatures. The infected displayed terrifying symptoms: bloodshot eyes, uncontrollable rage, and screams of hunger. Aiden quickly realized his neighbor was turning. Though the man was still partially conscious, Aiden forced him out of the apartment for his own safety. The moment the neighbor stepped into the hallway, a horde of zombies attacked him, tearing him apart in seconds. From there, the news urged everyone to stay indoors, avoid contact, and trust no one. Aiden's father sent him a message saying he was on his way, but soon the connection was lost, leaving Aiden completely isolated. Days passed. He began marking each day on his bathroom mirror, a silent reminder of how long he'd been trapped inside. By day 6, water and resources in the city were running out. At night, Aiden recorded video diaries on his laptop, desperately trying to hold on to his sanity. After 2 long weeks, Aiden was nearly out of water and losing his grip on reality. His face grew gaunt, his beard unkempt, and he started hallucinating, pretending to play music, swinging at invisible baseballs, anything to keep from going insane. But one bad move changed everything. In a fit of frustration, he smashed a glass, and the noise drew zombies through the air vent in his apartment. Aiden barely managed to bludgeon one to death with a baseball bat before blocking the vent with his surfboard. Time dragged on. Then one day, he received a heartbreaking voicemail from his mother. She revealed that his sister had escaped out of town before the lockdown, urging Aiden to go to her house for safety. But before the message ended, Aiden heard chaos and screams in the background, realizing his parents were under attack. That was the breaking point. Consumed by anger and grief, Aiden grabbed his bat, flung open the door, and prepared to fight his way through the horde. When Aiden finally gathered the courage to step outside, he expected freedom, but instead he was immediately swarmed by a pack of ravenous zombies. His heart pounded as he sprinted back toward his apartment, barely managing to slam the door shut behind him. As he peered through the peephole, his blood ran cold. A lone zombie stood eerily still, staring directly at him while calling his name in a guttural, broken voice, almost as if it was trying to lure him outside. Days turned into weeks. By now, Aiden had been locked inside for over a month, and the entire city's power grid had begun to fail. Darkness crept in, both outside and in Aiden's mind. This brings us back to the opening scene. Aiden standing in his apartment, hopeless and broken, preparing to end his life by hanging himself. He had lost everything: food, water, hope. But just as he was about to let go, he saw movement across the street. Through the window, he spotted a young woman in a neighboring building. She was alive. In that single moment, his will to live was reignited. He tore down the rope, refusing to give up. The next day, Aiden found a way to communicate with the woman using handwritten notes pressed against their windows. She revealed her name: Eva. For Aiden, this was life-changing. After more than a month of crushing loneliness, simply knowing there was another survivor gave him renewed strength. He even told Eva that she was the first normal person he'd seen since the outbreak began. That night, as the rain poured outside, Aiden decided to clean himself up. Taking his first shower in weeks and shaving off his messy beard, determined to start fresh. The following morning, Aiden came up with a plan to send Eva drinks by tying bottles to a baseball and throwing it across to her balcony. Eva was grateful, but their brief moment of happiness was interrupted when a zombie that could climb began clawing its way toward her window. Thinking fast, Aiden lured the creature toward his own apartment, sacrificing his safety to protect Eva. The plan worked, but soon a group of zombies began banging on his door, trying to break through. The moment the noise stopped, Aiden knew what he had to do. He grabbed his bat and smashed the climbing zombie's head, narrowly surviving the encounter. As night fell, Aiden faced another problem. He'd completely run out of food. Desperate, he decided to risk everything by venturing into his dead neighbor's apartment, where supplies might still be left behind. The moment he stepped outside, he was instantly chased by zombies, forcing him to sprint through the hallway and burst into his neighbor's unit. Inside, he scavenged everything he could: food, essentials, anything useful. Just as he was about to leave, a zombie lunged at him from the shadows, snarling and charging. Aiden fought back with raw desperation, finally managing to kill it before escaping with the supplies. Among the things he found were 2 walkie-talkies, still functional. With a new idea forming, Aiden carefully climbed down and tossed one into Eva's apartment, dodging roaming zombies below. The next morning, a crackle of static came through the device, followed by Eva's voice. For the first time, they spoke directly, and Eva thanked him for risking his life to help her. Aiden's heart filled with hope once again, but that hope didn't last long. His food supply began dwindling quickly, forcing him to crawl through the air vent in search of more. Deep inside the vent, he came across a dead zombie, the stench overwhelming him. Finally, he stumbled into an apartment that seemed untouched by the outbreak, with fresh food stacked on shelves. Relief washed over him, until he was confronted by an older man named Edward, the apartment's owner. At first, Edward seemed kind, even offering Aiden some food, but before Aiden could react, Edward viciously attacked him, knocking him unconscious. When Aiden awoke, he was bound and bruised. That's when Edward revealed his horrifying plan. His wife had turned into a zombie, but he couldn't bear to kill her. Instead, he lured survivors into his apartment so that his wife could feed on them, keeping her alive in the only way he knew how. Edward calmly offered Aiden painkillers, telling him to take them so he wouldn't feel the agony of being eaten alive. Aiden begged and screamed for mercy, but Edward didn't care. Suddenly, a loud banging on the door distracted Edward. While he checked, Aiden seized the chance to break free. A violent struggle erupted, and in a final act of defiance, Aiden shoved Edward directly into the arms of his own zombie wife, leaving him to be devoured. After escaping Edward's horrifying trap, Aiden rushed back to check on Eva. Through the walkie-talkie, Eva's panicked voice came through, trembling with fear. A zombie had broken into her apartment and was closing in on her. Without hesitation, Aiden grabbed a gun and charged downstairs, determined to save her. He kicked open Eva's door and shot the zombie dead, his heart pounding with adrenaline. But before he could even breathe, several more zombies leaped from the balcony above, their twisted bodies crashing down around him. Realizing he couldn't fight them all, Aiden yelled for Eva to climb down to the lower balcony while he distracted the horde. The two barely managed to escape, narrowly dodging grasping hands and snapping jaws until they finally reached Aiden's apartment. Inside, Eva collapsed in relief, finally safe. But Aiden stayed behind, fighting the last wave of zombies outside his door. He burst back in, breathing heavily, but something felt wrong. He clutched his side, convinced he had been bitten during the chaos. With tears in his eyes, Aiden begged Eva to end his life before he turned into a monster. But Eva refused, sobbing as she held him close, saying she couldn't do it, not after everything they had been through. In despair, Aiden decided to sacrifice himself, preparing to jump off the balcony. But just as he tore off his shirt, they both froze. There was no bite mark. He wasn't infected after all. Overwhelmed with relief, the two embraced. But their moment of peace was short-lived. The sound of pounding fists and guttural growls echoed through the hallway as more zombies began to break through the final barrier. Aiden and Eva armed themselves, standing side by side. In that moment, they made a silent promise. No matter what came next, they would fight together and survive, no matter the cost. The film ends with the two of them facing the door, ready to defend each other against the horrors waiting outside. And so, with the undead closing in, Aiden and Eva stand united, ready to face whatever comes next, choosing hope over fear and life over despair.